This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Once you realize it, once you figure out that this thing is here and it moves your life forward and it transforms your life, then you realize about this energy healing thing. You go from woo to wow, I like to say. Because, when you first hear about this stuff, you're like, it's kind of woo there. But once you start working with energy and a practitioner like our guest today, changes happen. You feel different. You feel better. Your life starts moving forward. She is a Reiki master, animal healer, sound healer, and a galactic shaman. What the heck is that? We're going to dig into that today. She always has lots of great insight. Shayna Blackmar is back with us. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you?
Intrigued to dig deeper into this term, this label, title, if you will, of Galactic Shaman. And I know what a shaman is, and I want you to explain that. I think I shared with you, I'm in a men's group. We do some shadow work, community service, leadership training, and all that. We support all of that. There's been times on tours where they made me the shaman. So I dispense information about shadow work and things like that. And that's all good. The galactic part, I'm disconnected at the moment. So please connect us. What's a shaman, and then what's a galactic shaman?
Yeah, so my understanding is shaman is more earth-based, and then galactic shaman is going up into the quantum field. And in the quantum field, it's this underlying invisible field of everything, where everything's connected, all possibilities are there. There's infinite possibilities. And so going up into the quantum field, then, I connect with source, and the healing possibilities are limitless. Go in and clear throughout different lifetimes, different things like that.
Okay. So
Amazing.
I met you in the elevator. Oh my gosh, Shayna, it's been so long. Oh, right. What are you up to? And then you say, well, shamanism. Let's move the galactic thing over to the moment. And then I say to you, oh, shaman. What's a shaman? What is that? How do you define that?
What's that? Someone who goes into other worlds, like the earth lower world or upper world, to essentially get more information to help move and clear blockages.
Okay. And that's
that they can move between worlds.
So is that a shaman in general, or is that when we move into the galactic shaman part of it?
That's the shaman in general. They definitely are moving between worlds. Yeah.
See, I wasn't aware of that. Of that. I thought essentially it's like a spiritual practitioner.
No, I mean, I think it's been tossed around a lot more frequently. But the true shaman carries specific DNA that allows them to move between worlds.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. New territory here. When I referred to that they labeled me a shaman, I would just provide insight, maybe about shadow work, things that you might not realize that are holding you back. Just insight. Call it insight. But,
Sure.
But that said, that's not a true shaman. A true shaman is, like you said, somebody that goes deep into spiritualism, maybe connecting with spirits in the spiritual world, if you will. If we say that, now if you add the galactic part of that, isn't that kind of the same, or galactic is just a deeper level of shamanism?
It's definitely kind of the same, but bigger, broader, going further, going deeper.
So
Absolutely.
that said, are we now opening the door to Akashic records and things like that?
I mean, those have been open for a while, or do you mean you and me?
No. I'm just talking in general. If we're talking like galactic shaman, Is that somebody who is now accessing those records and things in that nature?
Not necessarily. So going into the Akash is connecting and channeling. Doing shamanic work is going into the quantum field and making changes.
So give us an example. Let's say somebody comes before you. Maybe they're challenged by some certain things in life. Maybe struggling with some decisions. Maybe some of their past is holding them back. What would you say to them, and what could you do to help them?
Yeah, so if it's something that is repeating, that patterns repeating, things they've worked on for years and just aren't making any real progress, despite all of this effort, then usually I'm guided to do what I call a God code healing, which is where we get in and do lots of deep galactic shamanic work. And so in the God code healing, I go up into the quantum field, connect with source, and then from there, source can see everything, right? All the infinite possibilities, all the lifetimes, and can go in and clear all the points in all the lifetimes connected to the pattern that you're trying to release. So it can take like a few weeks, even a couple of months for the healing to be fully complete because there may be 1 point in one lifetime, 2 points in another lifetime, 3 points in another lifetime, and it's all being cleared out depending on what pattern that you want to create. Um, and so my teacher calls it, I love this, interstellar math, because it's essentially clearing out old or distorted programs and codes and then replacing with new, better programs and codes that you want. An example is, let's see, I had a client who was really struggling with a partner and just trying to get this person out of their life, but was just really kept being drawn back in. And it had been a repeat pattern throughout her life. And so we went in and did a God code healing and come to find out there were various like spells and curses and things going on in multiple ways. And so did the God code healing, clearing out those connections, those things that were draining her power because she was doing all this work, but it was being um, just dissolved. It wasn't effective. And so was able to cut those ties so she could get her power back and move forward and then replace that with what she wanted, with her sovereignty, with her power, with um, seeing the truth, those kinds of things.
Would this also be connected to what's known as the soul contract?
It definitely plays a part because you can go in and clear and change like outdated contracts, vows, agreements, things that you may have done unconsciously that you weren't even aware of that are now affecting you in a negative way. So those are all definitely can be cleared out in the God code healing. And soul contracts, those you can clear ones that are no longer serving you. But if there's a soul contract and a lesson that you still need to learn, then somehow or other that will still play out until the lesson is learned.
When you meet somebody for the first time with their permission, are you able to connect to, lack of a better description, their soul, all of that, um, in short time? Or does it take time to make that connection?
Well, I ask for their permission and yeah, it just happens right away. Just go in and start asking questions. And I'm learning more and more that so much of this healing, the the better I can do depends on the better questions I ask. So I can connect with them right away, but I need to, usually we talk a little bit first, and that helps me hone in on the better questions to ask so that they get the information and the healing that they want, that they're looking for.
Mm. And just to be clear for everyone, it's not like you're able to, and correct me if I'm wrong here, read somebody's mind or find out
No.
certain specific events that maybe it's personal and somebody doesn't want to share it. It's not like you're able to get that. It's more of a broader specific look. We'll call it, at things. We'll call it that, as opposed to like deep details of, yeah, when you were 28, the time that you blah, 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 blah. It's not like you're pulling that information up.
No, not at all. And I'm not interested in that information. That's their personal life. I'm just connecting with what they're telling me they want to work on. And that's the questions that I ask and we work on.
Wow. How many sessions does it take to and everybody's different, every situation is different, to start seeing a little bit of progress and somebody realizing things?
I mean, usually one, but they're absolutely cumulative because you're clearing low frequencies, you're clearing densities, and with each session, raising up, filling up with more light, with higher frequencies. So it's definitely cumulative, the results.
Mm-hmm.
But I find people see some benefit with just one.
Wow. and you can do that virtually too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We're up in the quantum field. There's no space, time, dimensions.
You know, thank you for saying that, because the universe time is not, the time that we go by. It completely different. Um, and we all look at it in a certain way. It's like when you want change in your life. Oh, well, I'm waiting for it. When's it going to happen? It's going to happen when it's supposed to happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But, with that said, you can speed things up or slow things down. It all depends on the choices that we make. If we're getting red flags, but we're ignoring them, we're just slowing ourselves down and usually kind of inadvertently causing something bigger to get our attention to learn that lesson.
Mm,
Or we can come into acceptance and trust that, oh, I'm trusting what you're feeling. Like if you're feeling gut reactions or, your intuition's guiding you towards, oh, yeah, that person may be saying all the right things, saying they're nice, but
mm.
I don't know, there's something kind of off, trusting that and following your intuition will save you so much heartbreak, so much just
All right. Let's go there. Let's talk about intuition. Let's talk
yeah.
about intuition, because I my journey, it's kind of everything. And so many times we want to ignore it. And I'm even, got a little personal situation, nothing major going on. Um, Maybe, a tinge of legal connected to that. Again, nothing major. But in the last couple of days, I'm getting signs. Somebody said something. Then, a close person said the same exact thing. And inside, I was sort of thinking it, but I was kind of like poo-pooing it away. Like, man, I don't remember that. But I'm looking at it now like, well, they're saying it. They're saying it almost as insight. Like, did you check that? And inside, I'm like, I can't be. So now I'm looking at it through a different lens. Like, okay, that's the universe's way of saying, you got to listen to that. Is that kind of how it works?
100%. I just got chills. That is what
I
Carl
did
Jung
too.
called synchronicities. Those are synchronicities. Those are our guides, angels, our light team, however you see it, putting it in front of us so that it clicks. It's like, here, pay attention. I'm going to give it to you 3 times from totally different sources so that you can't ignore it. And it's so interesting too, because the past week, everyone I've talked to has been struggling in some form or fashion. And it's this kind of culmination of things where we ignored our intuition. And now it's kind of blown up a little bit to our higher selves have created these circumstances so that we get it. You can't ignore it. Take care of this.
Yes, that's kind of what I'm feeling. And again, not a major situation, but one I need to cover myself. And the one person that said something it was unlikely that they would even bring that up.
Hmm.
Very odd. Like, and I didn't even react to it. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have that answer. And I don't. But what I'm hearing here is that I should adhere to that stick, stand my ground
Yeah.
on it, and say that I'm not doing this unless that is done. And that's really kind of what the scenario is.
Totally. What's going to bring you peace? What's going to protect your boundaries, protect your energy, protect whatever it is that needs to be protected?
Yeah. Wow. Um, we ignore our intuition so much where either we don't want to deal with it or we minimize it. We say, "How I can't be right." But if you're feeling it, and of course others are validating it just out of nowhere, you really should listen to it, right?
I think so. That's been my experience. Life is so much better when I follow my intuition and my clients and friends and family confirm it. It's just, I mean, we have it for a reason. And the only reason we don't follow it as much as we used to is because of all these external distractions.
Yeah.
All this, distorted programming from the outside. But if we were, I don't know, I mean, people who are off the grid, they don't really have those external distractions, right? And they're just more in harmony with nature and with themselves, and they're going with the flow because they're able to easier feel what is best for them. They're able to feel their intuition more without all the
Yeah.
distractions. Not that everyone needs to go live off the grid, but the more we can minimize those distractions, the better, and go within.
Yeah. Go within. That's a beautiful way to describe it. Where, how many of us, if you walked up to a friend, talked to somebody, where, hey, excuse me, when was the last time you sat in silence?
Yeah, that's a good question.
People are going to say, what are you talking about? And I've actually given that advice to others going through a challenge, same exact thing. And they're like, well, never. I'm like, well, you really should do
Oh,
that.
yeah, that reminds me of something that I read in a book years ago, and I tried it because I was really struggling with just so much external stimulation and noise,
Yeah.
and so I started wearing earplugs around my house just by myself. There was no one there, but just to have complete silence for hours at the time, and it was unbelievably peaceful.
You're
It was
freaking me out here because
it was amazing.
I just had this conversation with somebody last night and
Synchronicities.
can't make it up. I they they I guess essentially thanked me for telling them about earplugs. Go to CVS Walgreens, $5. You get a ton of them. And they each one lasts quite a while. And they use that for sleep, but it's also for silence. And their daughter is going away. She's going to turn 18. She's going overseas for a school trip. And she's like, so and so snores, la, 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 la. So my friend gave her daughter, yeah, here's earplugs, use these. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But that silence, at first, I'm going to say, not when you're sleeping, that's different. But if you're just hanging out, it's a little weird and awkward, especially because they're foam. You put them in, and then they start getting fat again in your ear to block out the
You
sound.
hear that? Yeah.
And it's like sound, 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 sound. And then you don't hear anything. It's like, oh my gosh, this is weird. I hope this thing comes out. But from that point forward, you block out all the distractions, and it's a beautiful thing. Just thinking,
Yeah,
receiving.
and your intuition can really just come online, and because that's the only person you're talking to.
Well, many of us are afraid to deal with us. We kind of keep ourselves busy, so I don't have to deal with me. You're maybe not consciously doing that, but you are because you've never dealt with you, and there's certain things that maybe you don't want to talk to yourself about, and you kind of like block these things out. Your intuition, when you get something, what does it feel like for you?
Mhm. A lot of times I hear words. So, I mean, that's just kind of sometimes it's disbelief because spirit is illogical in my experience. And sometimes it's like chills, like I said, the confirmation. Um,
Hmm.
Sometimes it's a feeling in the body of it's kind of hard to describe, but just this overall yes or an overall no. And the whole, you kind of feel it in your whole body of this feels good or this feels, it's either an expansion or a contraction is what I feel.
Hmm.
Um,
Should you
yeah, and I
ask?
think everyone's
Should you ask a
different.
question? Like just throw it out there. Universe. Even thinking it. What do you think about blank? Or should I blank? And then just kind of sit in silence and see what comes up.
Yeah, that's what I do. And that's what I was, kind of practicing for years, playing with it, tuning in, trying to differentiate between when I was hearing my higher self or source and just my ego mind talking, right?
Yeah.
So I would ask different like random things that didn't really make any sense just to kind of feel into the off the wall answers that would come in. And one thing I did discover is um, it's so much more helpful for me if I ask a question and then just kind of send it out, take 2 or 3 deep breaths, and basically creating space,
Mm, mm.
and then allow it to come in. And usually, like my experience is the first thing that comes in is spot on. The only thing that creates doubt is the human part.
The logical part of your brain, which,
Yeah,
and I get the same exact thing. The first thing that shows up, and many times you say, "Oh, that can't be the answer. That it's
exactly.
too easy. That no, 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 no." And then you start overthinking it, and then you go to the other choice, which is the wrong choice because we're so programmed to got to work for it, got to work hard for it. No, it just showed up. Go with it, accept it.
Yeah, I mean, spirit is simple. I had a math teacher in like 8th grade who always told me, keep it super simple, but my God, that is perfect for life.
Yeah, yeah, and
Um,
back to centuries ago, hundreds of years. Um, to your point, people didn't have the distractions. So I believe when the answer showed up through their intuition, that was the answer. I ain't going with
easier.
that. It's almost like I Googled in my mind and that's what came up. So I'm going with that. Um,
Seriously.
wow. Oh, it's funny. I said Google and my phone went bing. How do we connect with you? You can work with anybody anywhere on all different levels. I mean, we're just focusing on shamanism, spiritualism, but certainly Reiki, animal healing, sound healing. What's the best way to find you?
Yeah, through my website, it's vurusha.com, Vurusha. And then social media, Instagram, Shayna Blackmar Healing. You can connect with me there.
I don't want to sound like a sales pitch here, but in as little as one session, your life can change. But that's the truth.
It's true.
No, it is. You've got the proof. Thank you so much for breaking us all down today and going into some depth. And always great talking with you. The earplug thing, I am not kidding when I tell you it was less than 12 hours that conversation went down. And
Yeah, I think it's time to try it.
random or not. We'll talk soon, okay?
Bye.
Thank you.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.